Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Cricketry on ThePapare.com. Sri Lanka defeated Zimbabwe on the third ODI between the two teams by 184 runs. The bowlers, who were lagging behind in the team, finally kicked into the party, and rightly so, to win them the series in the series decider. First of all, speaking of the game, Sri Lanka won the toss and opted to bat first. And the surface for the game, it was not kind of the wicket which we saw in the first two games. It was high-scoring matches the first two ones, but this one, it was a little tricky surface. It was in the slower side a little bit, and it also took a little bit of turn. And with that, batting first was an advantage for Sri Lanka. Although they got an 80-run stand from the openers, they did not capitalize on it, I should say, to go on past 250 runs, because they could have easily made somewhere around 280 in this surface, and with the kind of the start they got, but they had to settle down to 254 runs, the Sri Lankans. Leading the batting was Pathum Nissanka with 55 runs to his name, and he was well aided by Charith Asalanka, who scored 52 runs. Asalanka played brilliantly under pressure, making sure that his team did not go down cheaply. But as I mentioned earlier, they did not capitalize on the start they got, and they've forgotten the word partnerships right in the middle of the innings. It has been a problem for Sri Lanka, the middle overs. They have not been good in the middle overs, not with the bat, nor with the ball. They've been struggling in that period of the game. But it was the same case today also. They were struggling in the middle overs with the bat, and as a result, as I mentioned, they had to settle down to 254. But I should say that proved more than enough to win the game with their bowling. Coming back with the ball, Sri Lankan bowlers feasted on the Zimbabweans, I should say, because the attack was led by Dushmantha Chameera, who started off in style, picking up 2 wickets in 2 deliveries, back-to-back deliveries in his second over, to dismiss the dangerous batters Regis Chakabwa and Craig Ervine. With that setback, Zimbabwe gave away all the momentum that they brought into the innings. This game is also a classic example of how far momentum can take you. Sri Lanka grabbed the momentum right at that point and never let it go. The bowlers came in, they made sure they kept the pressure, they held the pressure together, and of course spinners, Jeffrey Van der Sey led the spinning attack, picked up 4 wickets in it, and he also made sure that the pressure was never let loose of. Zimbabwe never got the upper hand from that point onwards, and they had to go down very, very cheaply indeed. That is the lowest score here in Pallekele by any team, 70 runs. If I didn't speak a word on Jeffrey Van der Sey, it would be a crime. Van der Sey being the second string leg spinner for Sri Lanka, behind Vanidhu Asaranga, replacing Asaranga during his injury. Van der Sey has just bowled too good to be looked over. I think it will be a tough time for the selectors coming in when they are touring Australia next. It will be a tough time for the selectors for sure. Van der Sey kept it in good lines, and his length was impeccable, and also he got the ball to turn, and that is not easy here at Pallekele under lights. There was a bit of a dew factor also involved in the game, but it did not matter for Van der Sey. He just kept bowling in good lines, and that paid off for him. And we should also mention that he's the man who was dropped after 2019, and this is his comeback series, and what a comeback it has been. 3 wickets in the previous game, and now he's buried it with wicket more, 4 for 10 runs, just 10 runs to finish the series on a high note for Sri Lanka. The two off spinners, Ramesh Mendis and Mahesh Theekshana, they were brought in specifically to attack the left-handers in the Zimbabwean team, and that's exactly what they did. Mahesh Theekshana made sure he took the wicket of Sean Williams, the dangerous Sean Williams, and Ramesh Mendis made sure that he's not going to give anything for Milton Shumba, who was the replacement in this game. All the Sri Lankan bowlers were on a back foot at the start of this series. They've made sure that they come back in, and they've got into the groove at the right time, we should say, with the Australian tour coming up. And we can only hope that they will carry this form all the way to Australia. And speaking of the batting was of course in very good shape, I should say, although we saw some collapses in the middle order. But if Sri Lanka can fix that, they'll be a very tough team in the ongoing ODI Super League. They've just advanced 1 position in the ODI Super League to go to the number 4, and that is of course a very happy story for Sri Lankans. So that's the story here from Pallekele. Sri Lanka have won this 3-match series 2-1 against Zimbabwe, and as Sri Lankans, we can all be happy about it. And until we see you again with another Cricketry episode, it's Sharmigan Sridharan signing off from Pallekele International Cricket Stadium.